All right, welcome back. Success is a Choice Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jamy Bechler. We're coming to you from the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Father's Day weekend, the Fatherhood Festival. I have a true legend, a man of myth, a legend, a former quarterback at Mount Union College, now got Heisman votes as a Division III football player, which is unheard of. Jim Ballard, appreciate you joining us today.
Jamie, thanks for having me on the show.
Well, great quarterback yourself. Now you are doing Quarterback Academy, the Ballard Quarterback Academy.com. Go ahead and check that out. You work with quarterbacks, you make them better, and you know a little something about being a quarterback.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to play this position since I was 7 years old, so I'm about 43 years in with coaching. As you mentioned, won a national championship in Mount Union, the first national championship. Played for an unbelievable coach, Larry Karras, who's also in the College Football Hall of Fame. They just renamed the stadium, the stadium after him, Karras Stadium, last Saturday. It was a great event. I was able to catch up with some other great players that ran through there. Pierre Garcon flew in from Florida, which is great. Dom Chambers donated a couple $1 million, got his name on the building for the new coaches' offices and player meeting rooms. And it's really cool to look back, and we played against each other. We talked about it briefly, and looking back to 91 when I transferred in from Wilmington College to Mount Union to see where the program has gone in 30 years. This past class, the last 4 years, was the first class that actually did not win a national championship since 92. So the run has been unbelievable what they've done. The facilities for a Division III school are off the chart. Again, appreciate you having me on, and all those experiences in the 6 different leagues that I played in. A lot of great coaches, kind of begged and borrowed and stole a little bit from all the guys that mentored me and helped me become a better player, formed it into my own philosophies. And then I've been running Ballard Quarterback Academy since 2007 and got the top quarterback in the class of 2023 in the state of Ohio. Brock Lowry committed to Indiana. So it's been a lot of fun doing a lot of media stuff. My good friend TJ Downing's over there filming some stuff for Stark Media that we're getting ready to launch this fall, doing games. We also have our Pod B and the OG that we started last August. So, looking out, it's the birthplace of football, man. And the Hall of Fame's right across the way. Father's Day Festival, first year they're doing this, really trying to get more kids involved and mentor. And because of this great game, I'm sitting next to you talking about it on a beautiful day.
Well, you played at Mount Union. That's a small college here in Northeast Ohio, but you mentioned the birthplace of football, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's hard to find an area that's better than Northeast Ohio. Obviously, Florida, California, Texas has all the athletes. But, man, Northeast Ohio just has all kinds of talent, as you see.
Pound for pound, Ohio, especially Northeast Ohio, is one of the best areas in the state, in the country for high school football. If anybody has not watched Timeless Rivals, the documentary that was done about Canton, McKinley, and Massillon, and in fact they played for 130 years, there's a line on the game in Vegas, if that tells you something, how important that game is. There's so many coaches and players that have ties here. We have the Hall of Fame game coming up in August. Josh McDaniels, who played here, his dad's a legendary high school coach, Coach Mario Manningham, who was David Tyree's teammate with the Giants. Ohio is the 5th state, I believe, of all of them that have the most NFL players. As you said, Texas, Cali, Florida, Georgia, and Ohio, I think, had like 58, I believe. But it's a great area. I'm an Ohio guy. I'm a Northeast Ohio guy, born and raised. Ended up transferring, going to college here. There's nothing like doing games on Friday nights, watching Massillon. Massillon has probably, arguably, the best indoor facility of any program in the state. Not just high school, but college and pro. A full 100-yard indoor. You got Paul Brown on the outside of the stadium. The things that guy did for the game of football. He coached at Massillon, went to Ohio State, started the Browns organization, got into a pissing match with Modell. Said, screw you, I'll go down to Colors and I'm going to start a team down there. I'm going to beat you. I mean, that started here. I mean, how cool is that?
Well, you mentioned a great stat that the Mount Union players this year that graduated first class to not win a national title since you went through.
Since 92.
You were the quarterback of the first national title. And we have a lot of coaches, a lot of educators, a lot of leaders that are familiar with maybe Mount Union because they've won, a bajillion national titles. But just speak to the consistency of being you saw it, you saw the building, you were part of that building. Talk how you build a program like that.
It's a great question, and I've had 30 years to reflect on it now, which is crazy. We won the first one in 93. I transferred to Mount Union in 91. Played for a great coach who's been up for the College Football Hall of Fame, and Bill Ramsayer at Wilmington. He ended up leaving, started a program in Virginia. Mount was my second choice. I went down there, and, I was able to play for two really, really good college coaches. One's in the College Hall of Fame. One has been on the ballot. So I was able to see the things that they did down at Wilmington. And then, at the start, as you said, I was the first self-proclaimed godfather of the championships, of course. But to see where Mount started, how close we were. My junior year, we went to the national semifinals. We honestly pretty should have won that. We were in the red zone 9 times. Didn't punt. Missed 2 chip shot field goals, an extra point, lose 27-24. And anyways, but so we were close. Then the one thing that changed going into the offseason after at that point, the best season Mount had ever had in 92 was we implemented plyometrics at 6 o'clock in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we knew we were close. And the thing was, I look back, as I keep saying, we were really close as a team. Myself, Mike Sirianni, who has done an outstanding job at Washington and Jefferson, Mike's youngest brother, also a Mount Union guy, Nick Sirianni, did a hell of a job last year with the Eagles. Mike Hallett, we got Toledo represented out here with Jason Canton, All-American defensive tackle. He's the co-offensive coordinator. I mean, we had a great core group of guys that just wanted to win. We knew we were close. We gelled, and we put it all together. And, we won the first one. And it's like, man, there is never going to be another team like us again. Fast forward, they've won 12. But I get asked all the time, why is Mount so good? Well, Coach Karras was a coach that understood that you don't force offenses or defenses to the players. You build the offense around the players that you have. And when I came in, they were running the veer. They were running, and I ran that my sophomore year, and that was god-awful. And we evolved, and we started running the roll pass, which if any coaches are listening out there, if you went to a coaching clinic with Larry Karras in the 90s or 2000s, he talked about the roll pass. We were the roll pass. So when you start winning, I ended up coaching, coming back after I got cut. I was able to coach Bill Borchert for 2 years as freshman and sophomore year. I coached Mike Yursich. What he's done was transfer out of Mount, start somewhere else, and now is the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach at Penn State. They were able to win some championships. And as the championships kept going, the recruiting kept getting a little bit easier. But then it was, when you really sit back, if you go to the playoffs and you go to the national championship, you get 4 extra weeks to prepare, to play, to practice. So, and the fact was, a lot of these teams were so good that they would just, beat up on people, get up, 30, 35, 40 points. Well, now the second team's playing and the third team is playing. And you're getting playing 2 national championships in a row. You're getting 8 weeks of extra practice and preparation time and experience in the offense or in the defense. So all those things just kept snowballing. The core group of coaches stayed intact for a long time. They've done a great job of, at that time, just recruiting a lot of good high school players from Ohio. Now, we got guys from Florida and Michigan and Texas and Cali. I mean, it's not just an Ohio roster anymore. And they've done a great job of getting out of the box and going to Florida to get some of the speed guys and the receivers. The quarterback that just graduated not so long ago, D'Angelo Fulford, was a tremendous player, an All-American, broke the record for the highest pass rating in the country, ever, I should say. So it's just evolved, and now we're kind of on the decline of not winning one national championship in 4 years. But Coach Dart's going to do a great job. It's to his son Vince Karras. Vince won a couple national championships. He's now the co-defensive coordinator with Jason Candle at Toledo. He left, and the son-in-law, Jeff Dart, who was an offensive lineman for Mount Union, won national championships. Had some other coaching opportunities in Western Kentucky, I believe, and he's come back and taken the reins of the program to continue the tradition. And if anybody understands it, he's basically Karras, reboot. Not blood, but now a relative, and he understands, playing at Mount Union, what it means to put that jersey on, what it means to see the sign, welcome to the machine, what we stand for, the expectation. And they started this in like 2000, 2001. You don't win a national championship, you don't get a banquet. Tough shit, bad season, sorry about your luck. That's the standard.
That's a great standard. I mean, it's amazing the amount of success Mount Union's had, the ability to sustain it. As you say, coaches that have come out of that coaching tree of Coach Karras.
It's incredible.
The amount of players. You deal with high-level players. You deal with quarterbacks right now. What makes a great quarterback?
Competitor. You got to be able to compete. And if you're a competitor and you step in the huddle, they see it in your eyes. They see it in your body language, the way you call a play, the way you manage the guys. I think that's first and foremost. Just being that competitor. But you got to also be those things. And, I've seen some guys that guys didn't like, they couldn't relate to. They just didn't mesh. And it wasn't symbiotic. It might be, the one guy's on offense, one guy on defense, and it's almost a split team kind of thing. You guys all got to be on the same page. You, as the quarterback, got to figure out what I need to do to get the most out of my players. You got to wear a lot of hats. You got to wear the leadership hat. You got to wear the competitor hat. You got to wear the psychologist hat. Billy Bob's getting his ass kicked at left tackle, can't block the guy. His girlfriend just broke up with him. He's sad. Do I punch him in the back of the head to get him pissed off and he's ready to fight to get him to play better? Do I give him a big hug? You got to fit the most out of your players, because at the end of the day, if that guy misses a block, I'm the one who pays for it. So we have to do all those types of things. You have to know your offense inside and out. You have to have the ability to tell guys and remind guys what they're doing on each play and not take for granted that they're going to do what they're supposed to, because there's, you played with guys like this that if they know what they're doing, they're pretty good, but they're dumber than a sack of hammers. So am I going to get mad at him because he doesn't know how to study his playbook and remember his plays? Or am I just going to say, hey, you line up next to me on the left, you go up 5 yards and break to the left. If I know he's going to do that, that makes my job easier. And when he catches the ball, he's pretty good. So it's a lot. And it's by far the hardest position in any sport, especially if you want to play it at a high level between, understanding offense, as I say, the mechanics of throwing a ball, knowing that somebody's blitzing through an A gap, he's untouched, you got to bring your arm back and you're going to take one right under the chin. I mean, a lot of guys can't do that. Running around, throwing the ball on the field in shorts and stuff like that. Oh, man, that guy looks good. Put him in pads and, let him get beat up a few plays in a row, and you've seen guys buckle.
Who do you enjoy watching as a quarterback?
Rodgers. And I love Favre, too, because Favre played with a childlike love of the game. He'd run around. You still see the highlight of when he threw that first touchdown pass, and he's running around with his helmet up in the first quarter. I mean, that's great. It's not scripted. It's how Brett played it passionately, and you can just tell he loved playing the game. And I was a lot like Brett in that I had a strong arm and I was a bonehead. And, you know, there were times where I had a 6-inch window and then I'd get it in, and other times I'd throw a pick and I'd come to the sideline and Karras would give me the stare, and yeah, that was on me. But I just love guys that play with that kind of passion, that kind of course. I mean, who's done it better than him? 7 Super Bowl wins. I mean, my idol, the reason why I wore 13 was Dan Marino. Dan went to 1 Super Bowl early in his career, never won, never got back. So, I mean, to watch Tom Brady do what he has done for as long as he has, then he decides to leave New England. Oh, Belichick is there. I mean, really? And he did. And he played at an extremely high level.
Well, he's Jim Ballard. And if you've got a son or want to check that out, Jim Ballard at ballardquarterbackacademy.com. Jim, appreciate you joining us. Thank you for being part of Fatherhood Festival this weekend.
Jamy, thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate connecting and the book. I will get to it. I might need cliff notes or, on